Are you dragging last year's baggage into the new year? Still holding on to old routines, outdated goals, and maybe some tired old doubts? It's time to drop the dead weight, step into 2025 with a whole new mindset. Cut out what no longer serves you, focus on intentional goals, and follow the steps to make them happen. Today, we're bringing you 6 power moves to shake off what's holding you back, ignite your purpose, and set goals you're truly excited to chase. So if you're ready to break through, let's dive in and make your year the year of transformation. Welcome to Embers Rising. It's episode 39, and I'm Wendy Jae, joined by my amazing husband.
Of course, David Tucker, and co-host. I'm getting co-host billing these days.
Well, I was going to say amazing husband, co-host, business partner, and running partner with a lot of trail running grit, which we'll let you know here in a minute. Together, we're here to set the tone for an unstoppable 2025. So if you're done with the old excuses, tired of settling, and ready to build the life you know you're capable of, this episode is for you. And today we're diving into these 6 powerful moves, David, strategies that you can turn this year into something truly unrecognizable if you're ready to take action. So buckle up. This isn't for the faint-hearted. It's time to make some moves for this next year and go all in.
So we're not talking New Year's resolutions here, are we?
No, we're not.
Okay, good. Because you know how I feel about New Year's resolutions. And apparently I'm looking through our podcast. I'm not supposed to swear. We're supposed to be a swear word free. But I think, resolutions are bullshit.
Okay. Well, you said it. At least I do toggle on the explicit on the podcast so that we're covered on that. Dave always catches me off guard. I'm like, I'm not really sure what he's going to say, but okay, that's all right. So I got to ask you, Dave, what is firing you up for 2025?
Well, I mean, we have so many things in the pipeline in terms of business that is firing me up. I have already signed up for an Ironman. We're going to do 100K. I believe we're going to do a 50 mile. And those are runs. Somewhere in the background, you keep talking about doing a 100-mile race. Maybe we'll, dip into that this year. I'm also excited about the fact that we're probably going to be moving locations a little bit this year. I think we're hoping to upgrade some of our living. And then my health, right? I'm always excited about digging into that. What about you? What are you excited about in the coming year?
Oh man, there's so much because I feel like I'm a bucket category person. So I'm looking at like our relationship, all of the amazing, incredible things that can improve in our relationship. I'm fired up about that. I'm looking at our community, Embers Rising, our business programs. I'm fired up about that. I'm looking at mentorship. I'm looking at everything we're doing for trail running and becoming a sponsored athlete. And there is so much I'm so excited about. And honestly, when you're excited about something, I think you have to hit the no excuse approach, because when you have excuses, you're really not fired up about it. You know what I mean? Like, you want to lose that extra 10 pounds. You're not fired up about it. Otherwise, you'd have the no excuse approach.
It had already have happened.
Right.
So I don't know if it's excuses, right? But it's the fact that I think on the other end, people don't have their must, their why. Like, why am I going to do this? Because once you gain crystal clarity as to why you must, it's a done deal. Now you just have to go through the steps where sometimes other mindsets allow you to like, well, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, we'll see, like that, sit back and we'll see how things pan out.
That's what I'm fired up about this particular episode, because when I was working on this and thinking about these 6 moves, these are the ones that take you from that to the execution space, but also to give you that rah for yourself, like, let's go inside. So I'm excited about that. But before we get into that, I do want to say quick life updates. We are just a few weeks away from the new year. And this is the hard transition when you're like, it's hard to accept that there's a new year in just a few weeks. You're thinking about like, I'm still in 2024, but like, this is happening where your mind really hasn't like made the switch. And I'm hoping some of our episodes have like helped you. When a few episodes back, we talked about creating your life manifesto. We actually provide like an action guide for you. If not, go back to it and check it out. I think it was maybe episode 38 about creating your life manifesto. It might maybe have been last episode. And then we actually shared our life vision with you. And that's like the really big picture beyond just 1 year. And now we're moving into this like brand new year, a few weeks away. And it can be scary because a lot of us, we don't know what we want. And a lot of you may not know what you want. Or it might just be one thing, or man, you are overwhelmed with like 50 things that you want or more.
Yeah. So I think sometimes people want too many things. And so you end up at the end of the year accomplishing nothing, right? Like if you narrowed your list down to the one thing that has to happen in 2025, the one thing, what is it?
I would say better health. It's always better health for me. If it's the one thing, it would be better health. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm always working on that.
I like it.
Other life updates. Training has been about the same for us. We always share that with you. AI has been continually being consistent. We got through app building, and now we're moving on to more exciting endeavors in AI world, creating. And we're almost done with our AI mastery certification, which is really exciting. So if you are not on our email list, I have to say that just because we are sharing some golden nuggets of things that we learn that can help you, whether you're a content creator, an entrepreneur. A lot of you guys are out there as couples creating a ton of content. So a lot of it can help you maybe just fire you up about some things that are new out there. Everything from, video, imaging, text, emotion, lead gen. There's just so many. We have so many tools up our pockets that we are just value dripping through our newsletter. And if you're really fired up about it, man, and you have a business and you want to jump in, you can always head over to ilukamedia.com. You've probably never heard us say that before. I don't think we've ever shared that, but we have kind of reframed our service of what we offer for private personal consulting. Now we do small group consulting with a very small group of people that we do like small cohorts throughout the year, but we also have private one-on-one growth strategies. So if you're interested for next year and you want to jump on board, go out and see if you qualify on our website. There's a little button and you can check it out, see what we offer. But we would love to have you because the biggest thing is we just want to help you grow, and we are all about execution. There's a lot of coaches out there that is like mindset, and it gets really like redundant. We have been through so many private coaches, David, and every year I think about, that's like one of the things on my list for 2025, like who are we coaching with? We're always in these high level master classes, high level coaching classes. So anyway, that was my rant.
I think a lot of people like to be in the coaching space because you don't actually have to do the work, right?
Doing the work is hard.
Doing the work is hard, right? Especially when it comes to, lead gen and scaling your business. You need to roll up your sleeves and get down in the dirt and churn some things around, because it takes massive change to grow past a certain level, from small business to medium business, and then medium business to, large and enterprise size. So
yeah.
So a lot of coaches are like, I'll tell you what to do, but you actually need to get in there and start to pull the levers to make it happen.
Yeah, there's so many things.
What you think is going to happen, often you get a different result, right? You got to continue. It's like piano playing. You got to continue to work the keys until the song comes out right.
To your masterpiece. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, there's so many things I can go on, but I want to dive in real quick and just do a quick shout out to every single one of you who hit play today. You're here because you're ready to go all in on your growth, and that's with us, and that is so cool. You're not just showing up, you're ready to push limits and make real change. And Dave and I are so fired up to be here with you. I mean, this isn't a year for sitting on the sidelines. This is your year to step up, own your own potential, and make it happen. So thank you for being part of the Embers Rising community and the movement. Let's crank up the energy to make 2025 a year like we're jumping out of our skin and proud of, where you're like, yeah, amazing. This is awesome. I totally want to do this. And you've put all the hard work that are the silent, dark days into the workflow, whatever you have to do to make it happen. So a couple of shout outs that I do want to just share real quickly. I'm going back down. We have so many. So they're not very many because I saved a lot for our next episode. I'm not even going to release that yet, but on our next episode, it's so cool about.
No, I think you're going to name drop it. Go ahead. You want to.
It's all about warming up together warming your love up together as a couple. And we don't do enough couples. And there's a lot of you who have shared what's happening right now in your winter season with us. And so this is why that episode was inspired about self-care and couple care. So I wanted to share a lot of those shout outs for that next episode. But in this episode, I do want to say, hey man, thank you for subscribing to our podcast. If you didn't know, we're on YouTube. So if you head over to Embers Rising podcast on YouTube and click the subscribe bell, that would be awesome. And we do have our episodes going over there, but I did get some comments here from DeMonte Properties saying, absolutely excited on your upcoming podcast. That's so cool. Thank you. And then Vishal Baruri, I'm not sure how you say your name, just subscribed to our YouTube channel. Man, thank you. Blown away. Like every one person is just blows me away. Like, thank you. It takes so much effort to go subscribe. It really does, because how many of us like watch a video and we don't even think they're subscribed. We just hit like, like the bell's kind of hidden, especially on your mobile.
And that's mostly what people do, I think now, right? At a certain point in time, you've had a YouTube account long enough that you look at your subscription, you're like, oh, I'm going to spend a whole day unsubscribing to things. So I'm not going to subscribe to anything else.
Well, this Vishal Barari, whoever you are, he said last night, I watched your 1 hour podcast on YouTube and I also commented. It was actually really good. And he put like a fire flame on it. Hey man, thank you. That just blows my mind. And then Natty_creator, she's always with us. She says, absolutely excited for the Embers Rising podcast. You guys are crushing it. Robust Physical Therapy says, love the energy, Wendy. Can't wait for those real conversations and actionable insights coming to you very soon right now. Robust Physical Therapy. And then a Digital Academy, I don't know if it's AGA Digital Academy. Maybe that says sounds great. So that's really cool. And that's all I'm going to share, because there's so much. I get overwhelmed with the amount that you guys are sharing. I mean, I'm just looking through it and it's just, David, there is so much. It's just unbelievable on the shout outs. I mean, I could do a whole episode on like shout outs, but anyway, let's get back, because you guys are going into a new year and you're thinking, okay, I've got to have direction. I've got to have insights. Like what are we doing? And I want to talk about lesson number 1. And I think the first thing when you're thinking about 2025, David, is you've got to cut out what no longer fits. And that's a scary thing.
Yeah, get rid of what no longer serves you.
Like cleaning out the pantry in your house. Like how many of us actually go in and clean out the pantry? I'm talking about like deep clean, like pull everything out, clean the shelves. Like, oh, is that some leftover cereal in the back? Like I'm talking about that sort of thing.
So it's an interesting thing with relationships, right? Because I think the pantry, sort of like the dishwasher, it's a telltale sign of the personality type, right?
Yes.
And one person in the relationship is always like got everything faced off, squared away. They stack the dishes perfectly. And the other person is sort of like a raccoon on meth, just like putting stuff wherever
awesome.
It can go.
Yeah.
And so, in this relationship, Wendy is not the raccoon on meth. That's Juan. That's me.
Well, I think when we talk about cut out what no longer fits, I'm really thinking about holding on to what's comfortable is the quickest and easiest way to stay stuck. And, it's really time, seriously, to put our business hats on for 2025 for ourselves, our personal hats on, and say, it's time to take a hard look at what you're carrying into 2025. If it doesn't push you forward, it's probably holding you back. And I want to share a story, Dave, because I want to talk about how to reclaim what really matters. And this story goes with, do you mind if I share this story?
No, go ahead.
So
I'm making some notes. You actually triggered notes.
Oh, right? I love it. I love it.
That's just the interesting thing about our relationship is all of a sudden we'll be talking and then one of us will disappear into our phone. And it's not that we're like looking up the stock market. I just text myself notes because Wendy will say something like, oh shit, that's pretty good. I need to remember that. Okay. So we've actually learned to be present and also take notes.
Take notes.
So continue the story, please.
So I want to share a story with you guys because we're talking about cutting out what no longer fits. And over a year ago, we had a client who was a friend who wanted to start more of a partnership business with us. And we went all in, which consumed all of our energy. And it really started affecting within less than a year time frame, David and I's marriage was greatly affected. Our friendship was actually affected, which was sad because we didn't even talk about the friendship. We were so focused on the partnership, and the partnership had become a bit toxic. It created a lot of stress, a lot of conflict, and it started distancing everybody, not only our friend, but David and I. And we found ourselves constantly managing crises instead of building together this incredible thing that we were building. We were on a mission, and I think we all lost sight of the goals that we were moving through. I mean, the emotional turmoil became very, very high in everybody, and we knew that holding on to what we were holding on to was really costing us a very high price tag. And I think when we talk about letting go of things that no longer serve us, letting go of this partnership was hard, but it also allowed for us for each other to now open up a shared vision, and it rekindled our, David and I's, connection. And I think this was a turning point, Dave, that really brought us back what we value most. I just feel like that's the best and shortest way to say it.
Yeah, agreed. If you're a couple and you're in business together, there are inevitably some like friction points that are going to come up. But when it's just you and me working through them, we have a framework and an understanding and love that goes together. And we make sure that we're like gentle with each other. But when there was a third person involved, this individual mostly liked to innovate through Molotov cocktails, right? He would light one on fire, he would throw it into a department, it would explode, and then he'd expect the people to put it out, right? And the people became us a lot of times because they would come to us. And, it's the way he runs his business. It's a profitable, large, fast-growing business, but it wasn't a good fit for the way we do things. And we're not the people that don't raise our voices. We're like, hey, this sort of sucks, the way we're going about this. So,
and I think if you're experiencing something right now in your life that's like that, and you have sticking points and you're really frustrated and you're agitated, you really need to look at that and say, do I want to take this into the next year? Because we're really talking about letting go and cutting out what doesn't serve you. And when David and I realized that this was affecting our marriage and our friendship with this person, that we're like, I think we really need to make some changes, because this is not, unfortunately, we did lose the entire friendship, but David and I saved our marriage, which was the very best thing, because we were actually looking at some pretty heavy duty marriage counseling through a lot of friends of ours.
And in retrospect, it was really more emotional counseling, right? Yeah. And just damage control.
It was.
As opposed to like there was a core issue with our relationship. That's the way I saw it anyway. Maybe I didn't see what was going on. I'm going to listen to the rest of this episode to find out what it may or may not have happened back in 2024.
Well, I think that we can get lost in our identity with something that you feel like is a good option, because from the goodness of your heart, you want to help somebody. And so you want to do this project, XYZ, whatever it is. So you're like helping. At the end of the day, is that really what you want to do? No matter the money. Is it really light your heart on fire? You have to really to look at that. Is this the identity that you really want to bring into this next year? I have some take action that I want to share. And I think the first thing is, when we're looking about letting go and cutting out what doesn't serve you, is write down habits that are draining your energy, or things in your life that are draining your energy, and then identify and commit to how maybe you've outgrown this person, this thing, this business, this project. Is this unfulfilling? Dave and I used to, when we had our marketing agency, we would be catch-all. We would catch every project that came into our agency. No matter what it was, we would hire the right people and get it done. And that also became very unfulfilling, because we literally just lost our energy in it. And we ended up taking a lot of clients that also weren't in alignment with our values. So this is a time literally to get tough with yourself and think of self-doubt, any fear that you're carrying, failure, perfection, let it go. What can you do? Pinpoint the cluttered space, going back to the pantry, that overwhelms you of the daily tasks. I know that I can go to a friend's house and they are so cluttered in every room of their house. And to me, I think your environment drives your direction. And if you are cluttered in every room of your house, it could also mean that in your mind, for what you're focusing on, is maybe also pretty cluttered and you don't have a clear direction. I'm not saying that's true for everybody, but most people and lifestyles that I have studied, people talk about how important it is to have a very, I would say, picked up environment, cleaned out environment. Dig deep, get behind the things in your pantry and sweep it out, and note a relationship dynamic that feels one-sided is toxic. I'm just going to make that note. If it's a one-sided relationship, you're giving all in. I've been through that, not just with this recent business partnership. I've had friendships that have been very one-sided, relationships that have been very one-sided. Like you're all in 80%, but what you get back is like 10%. And then when the person calls, you don't even want to pick up the phone because you're like, oh.
That's a sure telltale sign when the phone rings and you see someone on it and you're like, oh, I don't want to answer that.
Yeah, you already know.
You're like, you should know. The thing about, making this change, it sounds so great in theory, right? But the fact is, a lot of times it's really rooted in loops. And they're these emotional, mental triggers, these loops that you continue to phase throughout your entire life. And breaking a loop can be very difficult because the more the loop happens, the easier it becomes to have happen in your life, right? Neurons that fire together wire together.
Yeah.
And so energetically, it becomes very easy to stay stuck in a loop of perfectionism, right? Or a loop of frustration, or a loop of not future tripping, but past tripping. That's the one a lot of people are stuck in. They're just, every conversation has to do with the past. And I understand some bad things may have happened in the past or whatever it is, but it doesn't really serve you now. And so you have to do so much work to break those loops, and you have to be really focused on it, or it just becomes like the New Year's resolution where I'm going to work out, and then the next day you're having, a vodka tonic and a donut.
It's a commitment. It's a commitment of consistency. We're going to get into that. But the first one was cut out what no longer fits you. Can I move on, Dave?
Yeah, please.
The next step is start living as the person you aspire to be. If you want to be that stellar athlete, or you want to be that incredible speaker or that incredible mom, you need to step up and do that. You can't wait until, you become that person down the road. Do it now. Start living like that person. You've got to start embodying those qualities now. And you have to ask yourself, what is it going to take to be disciplined to do this? Then start living with that discipline today.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has sort of a bad rap, right? Because there's an old term that I think it came out of network marketing that was the fake it till you make it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I'm sorry, you'll have to hit the explicit thing, but that's bullshit, right? It's a bullshit attitude, but there's some truth in it. And I think that's really where it came from. You need to start living and taking action as if the thing has already happened. So it's not about projecting in social media or to people I'm going to do this thing. It's more of an internal process where you reset and you start actually doing the thing. And you'd be surprised how quickly, 30, 60, 90 days on the other end, you're like, oh, I'm starting to see results.
I mean, if you think about it, we're less than 4 months away from spring. This is the time to actually go all in. 4 months, people. 4 months, my friends. This is the time to go all in. You've got to start becoming what you really believe in and do the dark work. And the dark work is kind of boring. It's pretty quiet. It's behind the scenes. It's got really pretty dedicated, whatever it is. But what happens is it's pretty electrical vibe when you're out of the dark work and you're coming out. I mean, there's always dark work as you're working, on your thing. But I want to share a story of a friend of mine who's always dreamed of being a DJ. And I brought this story in because his brain has been wrapped around thinking about being the DJ on these incredibly packed dance floors and electric vibes and incredible locations around the world. He's seen all these other people.
Coachella.
Yeah, all these people around the world doing this on YouTube. And he's like, I really want to do this. And I really want to get serious about doing this. But he realized that waiting for the right moment was holding him back. So he just decided to start doing it. And he started doing it not in a way to break rules, but every day he took one step to get closer to that dream. He was mixing tracks. He was working the producer to help mix tracks. He was practicing transitions. He was reaching out to other DJs. He was playing smaller gigs. He was playing smaller gigs. He was going to parks. He was DJing for free. His goal was to get on stage. He was working to get on paid events that could take him to next level. And gradually, he built both his skills and confidence and no longer feels like just the DJ, but he's actually living it right now. And he's a good friend of ours, and his journey shows that confidence is built by taking action. Anything's possible. You just have to add a little confidence and just start doing the thing. I remember when I first started this podcast, I literally, if you go back to my very first one, I sat outside on a sofa seat on our patio.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I was holding a mic, and I'm like, well, this is my first episode. Okay, I don't really know how to do this, but my name, but you get better and you take action and you just work through it. Not everything is glorious. But the whole point is embodying the traits that you want to be. And I think showing up every day for yourself to do the thing is so important. If you want confidence, speak up in a meeting, make eye contact, introduce yourself, talk to someone new that you've never met to be like, hi, my name is this. If you want focus, set a timer for 30 minutes. If that's your goal, you want to be more focused, set a timer for 30 minutes, work in a distraction-free zone. And hey, this is my distraction-free zone. Nobody bother me. My phone's going on silent. I'm getting this thing done. If you want grit, call David. He's incredible. He's got a lot of grit on the trail. Commit to finishing something that's really challenging you, even if it's tough, like working out or a project or launching something or even a tough conversation. That's grit. Maybe it's just positivity. Maybe you just need to start your day thinking positive. List 3 things when you wake up that you're positive for. Instead of getting on your phone and checking social, hit your notes and just say, here's the 3 things I'm positive for today, or I'm excited about today, or I have gratitude for today. Aim at sharing a compliment to someone. You're at the store. Give a compliment to the cashier. Literally. Your outfit looks amazing. Your earrings are so beautiful. You're thinking to yourself, I'm a guy. I can't do that. Okay, find another way, but you don't have to do that. I understand that. But, for a women, we can give compliments.
Those jeans are looking pretty good. Oh, wait, run.
Whoa. If your resilience, if that's the thing you're wanting to build, when something doesn't go your way, take a deep breath, recalibrate. And, keep moving forward. I like to say that every small action helps you start living the person that you really want to become.
And expect failure, right?
Expect failure.
That's part of the thing. Embrace massive failure. The more you have that mindset, the quicker you're going to get from here to there. And, it's like running this weekend. I don't know why, but I fell again on our trail run. We're cutting through this very tight canyon. It's beautiful view. Sun's coming up.
We call it the flow trail. It's absolutely gorgeous. Single track trail. I'll show a video right here of David running. It's so beautiful. If you're watching this on YouTube, you see this video of David running. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it was a super cold weekend day. It was cold, gray out, but we were out there doing it. It was 33.
And so Wendy's way ahead of me, as she always is. And I'm just soaking it all in. And then all of a sudden I'm staring right at a couple granulars of sand right on the ground. I'm like, what happened there? And I look back at the flow trail. It was just a little rock sticking up that I just, hadn't grabbed my toe high enough and run over it. And I hit the ground, but it's just a failure.
Yeah, that's hard.
A little broken elbow, a little bit of blood. I got back up. Another girl passed me about 10 minutes later laughing. But the point of it is, you're going to take some bumps and bruises and it's going to hurt a little bit, but get back up and keep going, because the second you let one of those minor setbacks stop you, you've stopped your forward momentum toward your dream. And what are you going to do? You're going to pick it up next year all right, I've forgiven or forgotten about that. I'll do it next year.
Listen, if you're not watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, it is such a great show for resilience. Sometimes you don't make the cut, and it could just be your timing. It's just the timing, but you're going to come back and keep trying. Just the timing of life. Don't give up on the things that you believe in and that you dream of doing. I dreamt of having a podcast for years. David, you and I would talk about it and we'd make fun of it when we were in Maui. We'd oh yeah, this is going to be the song on the beginning of our podcast. We were so far ahead of ourselves. We were we really want a podcast. Years and years and years before we actually launched one. It took us, I don't know how many years, 6 years, something like that, to launch a podcast. It was a long
and
time.
really all you need is a mic and that recorder. But of course, we've complicated it with multiple cameras and
Here we
lights
are.
and building this little thing here that still isn't perfect yet, and it never will be, but we'll keep building it.
Well, this kind of ties into number 3. So lesson number 3 is smash through limiting beliefs. And I said smash because I think of going into one of those, what are they called, Dave? Those axe places that you like throw the axe and you can go into those, like you throw things and hit a bat on something and it like smashes stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's the rage room.
The rage
and
rooms.
it's usually right next door to the axe throwing / microbrewery, right? Because you go drink beer and throw axes.
Yeah, I think we have one that's called like Section 37 or something.
Something strange.
Something strange like that, yeah. And I think smashing your limiting beliefs, like physically smashing something. But, limiting beliefs are the mental chains, what David was talking about, that are holding you down, like the loop blocks. And they're pretty tight. They're the first things to break if you're serious about growth. You can do it. And I'm just going to say this little disclaimer here, at any age. At any age, if you're listening to this and you're over 60 and you're like, I can't make change, I'm old. You're not old. You can do it. I mean, these thoughts of, I'm not enough, I don't have what it takes, are lies. They're lies that keep you in one place. You can do
loops,
it.
Right?
They're
Let's
looping.
go back to loops.
Yeah. So I want to share a journey that we are currently on because we are talking about smashing through limiting beliefs. And this might shock you. Dave and I are on a journey to create $1 million business. And we are crushing through our limiting beliefs. And we're doing it in a lot of ways. And you guys are part of this journey with us every day with us. Now, we're not doing a podcast every day because you get really irritated of our energy and looking at us on YouTube. But listen, we show up for you and you're on our journey with us. You're helping us because we want to help you. When we sat down and said, we want to have $1 million business and beyond, what does this look like? We're doing it in a lot of different ways. We looked at the bold vision of setting huge goals and building $1 million business. And immediately we can feel the weights and doubts creeping in. And we're like, $1 million, really? And more? I mean, that's hard to say.
Let's qualify and quantify that, though. That's from 0 to $1 million in a year for one business model.
Right.
So,
yeah, for one business model. Yeah.
So that's a bold move for most people.
But I'm just going to share some of these limiting beliefs that crept in. We were like, that's for other people, that we had recognizing our fears. Can we really do it? What's holding us back? What's challenging us? And then we talked about, we're in the solid foundation building space right now. Rather than focus only on the end goal, we're building foundations for scalable programs, systems, and infrastructure to support the growth. We are investing in higher level mentorship that's executionable. We're working with mentors who've already reached this level in their entrepreneurship life and their experiences. And we want to apply those insights. We are surrounding ourselves with big thinkers. We are intentionally surrounding ourselves with people who think big and support our vision. We want to create an environment where the growth feels natural and not unnatural. And so it's important to us. Another one is we're taking daily action. Every day we show up and we take concrete steps, which are kind of the dark times at the moment. They may be small, some big, but knowing that these are consistent actions we're doing every day is creating results. And the last one I put down here is embracing the process, because we have learned that success is not feeling 100% every day or 100% even ready, but it's about committing to the process and moving forward every day. We are launching a lot of stuff that is really messy and it's not perfect. You can go look at it and it's like, guys, this isn't perfect. We know that, but the fact of the matter is we're working through it and just getting it out there. It's a start. It's a phase 1. You can always move into phase 2. I just think about the journey is teaching us that belief grows with action, and stepping into the vision is already transforming yourself.
For sure. Why do you think people stop growing?
Because they don't know what they want. I think people stop growing because they lose sight of their vision. The big picture.
I like to think of comfort zone too, right?
Yeah.
Even though you may be incredibly uncomfortable where you're at right now, at least it's the known. And going in and building something, doing something else, changing your life becomes the unknown. And I think that's part of the cool part of the journey.
Oh, yeah.
But for so many people that we know, in our circle, they're like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
How do you know it's going to work? what's going to happen, right? Like, what about the economy? There's a new president. There's blah, blah, blah. You're like, I don't know. I don't know any of that. What I do know is what I can do myself, and I can do the thing I said I will do. Put out a plan, start working on it, and start measuring results. That's all you can do.
You know, we talk about embers rising, and to me, that's the fuel that's flaming you inside. And that's what we're talking about. And a lot of the embers inside of you, if you're feeling like, hey, I don't have any embers, you do. They may be smoldered and covered up at the moment. But if you move a couple little boards or pieces of wood, you'll re-spark that. And or maybe you're so lost in your dream, or maybe your dream just needs a little bit more igniter fluid, you know, and you just need to go all in. You need to let go and create space for something that's really incredible. These are the moves, my friends, that are going to light up 2025. And when I look at identifying and replacing the limiting beliefs, I'm talking about a limiting belief of saying, I'm not experienced enough to start my own business. Change it to an empowering truth, saying everyone starts somewhere. I'm learning and growing every day. Like, that's an empowering truth. Or I always fail when I try something new. You could change it to each attempt is a step closer to success and learning. Or another limiting belief I wrote down. I don't have the resources to make my dreams happen. Don't we all? You could also you could also say to yourself, I am resourceful and I can create opportunity. You know, you're just gonna go all in and try. I didn't have a budget to start a podcast. We just started a podcast. Literally, I sat on my back patio. I was like, hey.
One mic and one recorder. The other thing I think people do a lot is, you know, they bury those dreams down. And whenever they peek their head up, it's uncomfortable. And so they start covering them up with things. Sometimes it's drugs and alcohol. Sometimes it's online gaming. Sometimes it's getting so busy in your life with a craft or a hobby. Or how about people that have like 5 dogs, right? Like, something in their life is taking their time away. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm saying often it's a cover-up for not dealing with what's going on truthfully in your life. And you got to look at that and say, is this my passion? Do I love this? Do I love sitting in front of the TV 7 hours a day? Or am I using it as an excuse and a cover-up for what I'm really feeling I'm not accomplishing in life?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I think when you sit there and you have those limiting beliefs of even, I'm too old, I'm too young to go after this thing. Honestly, that's why I said there is no age limit to growth and success or new beginnings. You know, you just write down your empowering truth, remind yourself of it whenever self-doubt creeps in, you know, have it on your phone, have it on a poster and always have it around you. That's most important. All right. Number 4, let's go all in. Number 4, let go of unfulfilled goals to create space for real purpose. And I love this one because there's a lot of times that we said in 2023, here's my 2024 goals. And then you had a lot of unfulfilled goals, and they're not failures. I would say they're learning experiences. And if you're still holding on to something that no longer like excites you or aligns with your vision of today, it's probably time to let go and make space for what does. You know, when I think of believing in a vision against like all odds, you know, there's so many stories, but someone who we've watched through the years is Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She literally, if you don't know her story, was selling fax machines door to door. I don't know if you know that, Dave. She literally was selling fax machines door to door and hearing no. So despite having no experience in fashion or business, Sarah saw a gap, a product that she could actually help women feel better in clothing. And so, you know, if you don't know her story, her friends and family and industry experts told her it wouldn't work. And she lacked, you know, experience and fashion market research. It was very, very competitive. So she self-funded and she was very resourceful, determined to invest her own savings, did her own research, and even wrote, I don't even know if you don't know this, but she even wrote her own patent to save on legal fees. She wrote her own patent. She faced rejection major. I mean, manufacturers turned her down, boardrooms turned her down. They laughed at her. She was, her concepts were crazy. It just was not selling. But you know what? Sarah was relentless and she just kept pursuing this over and over and over. And she was not going to give up, continuing to believe in her vision and taking every step to make it come to life. And ultimately, here she is. Spanx became a global recognized brand. And Sarah Blakely has become one of the youngest self-made billionaires. My friends, not millionaires, billionaires. So her and Jesse Itzler are an incredible couple, and we follow them a lot. And so her story shows that resilience and resourcefulness and belief in yourself, the belief in yourself with your vision, can transform even the smallest idea into world-changing success. And I think that's important when we look at this lesson of number 4 of unfulfilled goals to create space for real purpose. And what do you want to do today?
I love it. Such a great story. I do know some parts of it just from listening to Jessie Itzler and some of her podcasts. So
yeah,
massive rejection is part of the deal. And so you better get used to it. The only people that don't really feel the sting of that is those people that were born into, a lot of money, and so they can play it safe. But for the rest of us that were not in that situation, in that bucket, like, it's go time.
Yeah, it is.
Time to go out and face the loss, because the failure is in between the loss, and you learn so much. Every single one of those, experiences that I've had where I came out saying I didn't do this right, I didn't succeed, right, but I learned something from it, and I got better every single time.
I think it gives you that opportunity to pivot. It's like, okay, this
or micro adjust, right?
Micro adjust. Yeah, it's like, okay, this didn't work, and how can I take this maybe setback or this thing that didn't work out and just keep going? Like, I'm thinking of these examples I wrote down of your career focused, and you keep applying for jobs in your dream field, and you keep facing rejection after rejection. I mean, instead of giving up, use each of these experiences to improve your skills and interview techniques, knowing that each one and each no brings you closer to the right yes. When I was selling a lawn care company, I don't know how many of you ever have sold a lawn care company, and probably very little of you, but I'm telling you, it is very difficult to sell a lawn care company. I had a company that we weren't the small guys on the block, and we weren't commercial, but we were in between. So we had commercial accounts, and then we had residential. And I wanted to sell it because I wanted to go to film school. And to sell a company, you have to have in your books the right P&L to show up and the right accounts, because really at the end of the day, it's kind of a wash what you can sell. I don't have any hard assets I'm selling. Equipment doesn't really qualify for the price tag, that we were asking.
Right.
Because your equipment's, 10,000 here, 10,000 here, all of that. And a lot of that was on leases, right? So I'm selling like a full business, but we had been in the industry for a long time. We had clients that were, every year would show up for us, contracts that would renew with HOAs, commercial accounts, and then major residential in the whole valley. And we did end up selling. So, but every phone call, it was a no. And I was actually doing it myself. I did hire an agency to help me. It didn't work out with that agency. I literally was picking up the phone and just calling and asking people, and even other larger commercial firms, if they would want like our list. They was just like a dead no. And I didn't feel bad because I was trained in my real estate expertise that every no leads to a yes. But even though, you're kind of like, oh man, that kind of hurt. You just like, no, you're not going to let it phase you. It's just like, brush it off. Just keep on going. And then one day, Dave, I got a yes. I got a yes from this guy who says, I am interested in that. My wife and I just moved here, and we're looking for a business to invest in. And that sounds great. He said he was a waterfall pool expert, and he wanted to add that piece of landscape into a new business. And I said, great, you can have all of our clients, all of our equipment, commercial accounts, HOAs, all residential, done. And it worked out. It was fabulous. But it was only because I was relentless on like getting the no's to the yes.
And it can hurt. You know what hurts worse than the no's? The yes that ends up being a no at the end. That kills so many people's dreams, where you're like, yes, I'm finally there. And then at the very end of whatever the deal, the tunnel, the opportunity is, it was a no. We sort of went through that last year with that business partnership. It turned out to be a no.
It reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, the episode all the way up until like 6 days into the game day or 5 days into the game day. They had to cut still 2 more off the team to get down to 36.
But what's interesting is those people actually come back the next year and try out again and make it, right?
The resilience is incredible. Those ladies are like, I will show up to do whatever it takes. This is my dream. I'm going to do it. That's why I said, if it's it might be the wrong timing and you get a no. It might just be the wrong timing. Circle back and keep going.
maybe you're just not good enough now, right? Not forever, but oftentimes you're just not good enough at whatever the thing is now. And people recognize that.
And you also don't want to oversell yourself. If you say that you're good at something, are you really? Like if you have a marketing agency, he's like, yeah, I'm really good at lead gen. Are you really though? What does that mean? Break it down. Is there some classes you could still be taking? I bet there is, because marketing online moves pretty fast. And Dave and I have been in the industry for quite a long time. And we know the strategies move very quickly. And I'm always learning new things.
Right? I got to learn every day.
Every day. Anyway, so the point of this is, for lesson 4, I think you've really got to create space for the real purpose of you and not give up. That's the most important. Each setback is an opportunity to turn and adjust and move forward and create space for your next big purpose. Lesson number 5, Dave, let's get into it. Here is the big thing. Commit to consistency and small wins. The secret to big success is small, consistent action. We've all heard that, and it's the hardest thing to do. If you're trying to make giant leaps or setting yourself up to burn out, instead, commit to showing up every day, even when it's in the smallest way. Every day, show up. Make it happen. They're like micro deposits into your goal and dream. And that's what, let's just share a story, Dave. We have a story. Here's our choosing consistency to win story. Dave and I have a little bit different story, but it's kind of the same. Both of us decided that we wanted to run. Okay. I've never considered myself a runner. I have been a mountain bike racer. That is my background. I have always been a triathlete and more. I've always done all of those. I've done the Xterras. That's what I'm thinking about. Do they even run Xterras anymore? I don't even know.
So, yeah.
Anyway, I used to do the Xterras. Anyway, I never really considered myself though as a runner, specifically a trail runner. But instead of aiming for like super long distances right away, we focused on short, manageable runs, sometimes around our block for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And here we are, Dave, finishing our first 50K this year.
Going out on the trails and falling down and skinning your elbow, right? But it's a 10-mile run.
You promised yourself you'd show up for yourself, even on the days that you didn't want to. And we were out there with headlamps in the dark, in the smoke of the fire season this summer that we didn't want to. We're like, man, we kind of got to get this training run in, we were out there.
And that was the only thing I committed to at the beginning of the year, was just doing it, right? Like I didn't know what it was going to be, but I said, I'm committing this year to doing it. And I'll follow a program. I'll run every other day. I know how to measure success in terms of, am I getting better in distance and speed and all of those sort of things, but not looking back or judging it. So it's been, it's been the process. And I think in 2025, I'll be able to step into it and say, hey, I'm a runner.
But what you did was you made small, consistent steps and changes every day that built your endurance. And you're not an endurance guy to start with. It built your endurance over time. And that made you to where you could get to that 50K and actually get through it.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter the finish. Doesn't even matter. But
and people tend to dream in the macro.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like they dream in these big, broad strokes of how amazing it's going to be when you do the thing and you end up at the finish line, and everybody's cheering for you. But the fact of the matter is, then the work starts, right? So you can dream in the macro, but actually getting there, the micro, all of those little steps are just like bricks in the wall, right? And you don't build a wall with one brick. You just have added another brick to the wall. And it's up to you to determine how much time and how aggressive you want to be in wall building. So
I remember sitting here with y'all a few months ago and how painful I was in. I sat here literally in the studio chair with you and I said, I am facing setbacks. My knees are hurting. My calves have blown up. I have quadricep tendonitis. My feet are hurting. Like all of this, all of that was just like this incredible setbacks. But every day I kept showing up. Every day they said to me, my PT, your hips aren't strong enough. You have weak knees. You need to do this. And I'm like, what? I am doing that. But I'm like, am I doing it every day? Every day, David has seen me in the gym doing all of those exercises to build stronger body. And, here we were for a run that's here in the cold winter, 2 hours, 33 degrees. And I'm like, I don't have any pain except for I'm still working on my bunions and the blisters that's still healing from these calluses. But other than that, choosing consistency over intensity is actually the right thing because You've reached a goal when you can become something that you've dreamed of becoming. I didn't say I dream of becoming a trail runner, but I dreamed of saying, could I do a 50K at one point? And I proved that small little micro steps, like you were saying, small little micro deposits can lead to big results. And that's incredible.
A 50K wasn't even on my radar. My dream was like, someday I want to do a marathon, right? Because I'd never done a marathon. And I still haven't done a marathon. I just blew right past it.
We did. We blew right past it.
And the only thing I said was, something's going to have to change here if my toenails start to fall off, which they haven't. I've got all my toenails still, so that's good.
I think when you and I went out for those dark runs in the morning, and it just felt like waddling out there, like our first dark runs. I was thinking of the, this won't mean anything to you guys, but we have a trail that's called Motorcycle Parking Lot that goes to Dry Creek and back, and it was like a 4-hour run. Remember that? It was like 3 hours or 4 hours run, and we were like, man, we literally were in the dark and we're just waddling out there. But you got to start somewhere. It felt like waddling, didn't it? It was just like so slow.
It feels like I'm just smoking everybody until that girl who has the dog goes running past me. And I know she's probably 22 and she's run all her life and she's like, a track star in college, but it still hurts. Like she just smokes right past you at a speed that's so much faster than you could ever imagine running. But she has done the micro steps for years, right?
To get to her big thing, yeah.
I'm only a year in. I have age on my side because I get to compete in an age group where the competition is dwindling. That's a good thing.
Well, I was just going to say for this lesson, the important thing is to take daily steps to build your consistency. And that's what Dave and I have done. We want you to do that too. Whether it's walking or jogging for 10 minutes a day, reading 5 pages, a book every day, spending 15 minutes a day, practicing a new skill set, swapping out one unhealthy snack for a healthier snack, decluttering that pantry, decluttering some place in your closet, like do one thing. Maybe it's even a mindfulness practice, taking 5 minutes of meditation and just sit on the edge of your bed and just say, I'm going to take 5 minutes for myself to just cool down, have a quick meditation. I think the taking small daily actions, you are going to create the progress and you can see and feel the momentum that moves you closer to your goals. And that's when I were talking about earlier, you're chasing the dream that totally fires you up. That's what you want to do. And we are fired up about that. So,
take the dream.
Yeah.
And you got to turn it into a plan, right? Write it down, turn it into a plan. And then from there, create a system. Use ChatGPT, do some search. The system that you create isn't going to be the exact right one, but it is going to be a system. And then in that system, decide what you're going to measure, right? Like what are the markers of success in this system? Make it simple. You don't need a big giant business plan. You can do it in a notebook or online or in a planning tool like Monday, and then just start to execute on a daily basis. And you will course correct. You'll self-adjust, right, as you go along, because you'll find out what part of your plan was unrealistic, what didn't work, what was stupid, what's holding you back. And that's part of the plan, right?
Yeah.
The master plan in making that dream come true. But if you don't go through those steps, you have a dream that will remain a dream for the rest of your life. And the day you die, you'll be thinking, man, if only I had done something on that dream.
Yeah, don't let anything hold you back when you can't figure something out. Anything. I know so many people, Dave, that have told me, I wish I would have done this, or I don't understand how to do this, and I'm still here. And they've been talking about it for years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Don't do that. Because my last one is, which is the 6th move that's going to light up your 2025, is embrace delays as opportunities for growth. And the reason I've put that in there is because delays aren't failures. They're opportunities to even get stronger. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Some of them didn't get picked for the team. Those aren't failures. Those are like the timing didn't work out. Go still all in on what you believe in. Get your foundation stronger where you need to be up to show up to get on that top spot, to get whatever you want. Life's not always about being on your timeline, but when you trust the timing, you can use the delays for your advantage. It's really hard to think like that though, when you want something so bad. And it's like, this is my timing. I want it now, but it didn't happen. It's okay. Trust the delays. And, David and I have had huge projects that we were excited to launch, but we had unexpected delays that kept pushing us back. We felt ready and we were excited to get something done. And they were just like, not the right timing. It wasn't the right thing. And we had to adjust. We've had programs that we had to retire that just didn't work out. We had to adjust. We had to adjust with the season, adjust with the market. But we saw a chance to build a stronger foundation instead of rushing forward with more unfinished goals. And here we are. We're investing in, more mentorship. We are using extra time to connect with people on our AI mastery. We have become process communication coaches. We finished a private mentorship with Vishen Lakhiani. We're looking at a private mentorship with Tom Bilyeu right now. So we are learning from those who have experience, taking the insights to help us refine our vision. And I think that's so important when you can take that and move forward. So it really does come down to foundation building, and it's okay to have the delays, skill building, strengthening your own system, connecting with the right people, building confidence. And just know that, look at all the experiences that have caused your delays and count them as a blessing. And I think offer the time. This is now the time to say, okay, I'm going to grow and learn from this, and I'm going to build something truly sustainable for myself, because I've done this for everybody else, and now it's my time. This is my time, and I'm going to make it work for me. And maybe I didn't get the thing this year, but I'm going to get the thing next year and go all in on whatever it needs to be.
Don't let fear hold you back.
Yeah.
Don't let ego hold you back. That's what's holding most of us back. I understand some things in your dream may require money and you don't have the money right now. There's ways of finding it. You may not have the skills right now. Guess what? You can build the skills. You may not have the time right now. Find the time. There's time in your schedule to do whatever it is. And dump the bucket of excuses and just turn in toward yourself. Listen to your inner truth. Look in the mirror and tell yourself this is what we want, right? You and I, we're in this together. Tell your spouse, or your significant other, and do it in a way that expect that they may say, you've tried things before. Why do you think this is going to work? And just say, this is my dream. I need you to believe in me. And I can't promise you that it's going to work out, but I'm going to follow through and do the thing. And so many times you see some quick successes in that first year, whatever you do.
So I'm going to kind of start wrapping this up, Dave, because this has been a longer episode than I had expected. And I just want to remind people a couple of takeaway examples. If you didn't get the job you wanted, use the time to polish your resume. If you're in a fitness goal and you're injured and you're still in recovery, focus on cross-training, recovery, building that mental resilience. If you are launching a business and your product is on a launch delay, use the time to refine your marketing plan. If you're a creative and you're finishing something and it hasn't gone as planned, take the time to study new techniques. How can you get feedback from mentors or explore ideas? If you're needing to move or relocating and something's got postponed, use the delay to declutter. If you're looking for personal development and your big plans have kind of stalled, focus on personal growth. Right now, already start reading books. You don't have to wait for it. Attend some workshops, develop some skill sets, watch some YouTube videos, invest in some podcasts. When plans shift, it's a chance to build a better version of you. And that's what it's all about. So make the eventual outcome more rewarding. I think that's important. So to kind of recap everything, what we've talked about.
Yeah, land the plane.
Let's land the plane. So the takeaways from this episode is cut out what no longer fits. Number 1. Number 2, start embodying the person you want to be today. Number 3, smash limiting beliefs. Number 4, let go of unaligned goals. Number 5, commit to small, consistent actions. And number 6, use delays to get stronger. That's really it, Dave. That is the 6 moves that's going to light up your 2025.
I love it.
All right, so that's it. 2025 isn't waiting for you to feel ready. Cut out what's holding you back. Start acting like the person you want to become and crush those limiting beliefs. Commit to small daily actions and make space for goals that light you up. And remember, delays aren't setbacks. They are your fuel. If you're fired up, share it. Follow us on Spotify. Like us on Spotify. Rate us on Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube. And find me on Instagram. I would love to connect with you. DM me. I would love just say hi. It would be amazing. Or leave us a comment out there on one of the channels. Let's make 2025 the year that you show up for you. Now go out there and make it happen It's time to keep rising. And lastly, we believe in you, and we're sending you our deepest aloha.
Aloha.